Hello, good evening, this is Diecast Luna. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to episode 13 of Vintage Matchbox Mondays. And this week's episode is going to be pretty much like last week's. It's just going to be random pieces, random vintage pieces that I got this summer, that I got from car boot sale. Yeah, I think they're all from car boot sale. I'm just having a little think. Yeah, they're all from car boot sale. Like I said before in previous video, a lot of my cars are either from car boot or flea markets, or sometimes I find them on for sale sites, like not eBay specifically, but they'll be online sites, and they're usually within a radius of sort of 5 or 6 miles from my house. I like to try and find my vintage pieces if I can in the wild, so to speak, rather than it's easy to buy them on eBay. You see something you like, you buy it, it comes. I have done that, and I have got some mint pieces. But as you all know, I prefer my, as I call, survivor cars. So that's what I've done. So as last week's videos was relatively popular, quite a few people said they enjoyed just seeing vehicles from my collection. I thought, why not show some more? So anyway, we'll get straight into it. So the one that's in the background at the moment is the Porsche 944. And it's in the Duckham's livery. Now apparently this is not a usual livery for it to be in, but how right that is, I don't know. I never looked it up, but I know somebody seen this once and said this was quite not such a usual one, at least in the Duckham's anyway. I do have this in red somewhere and in black, funnily enough. But here we go. So it is the Matchbox. Where are we to? I'm trying to see what it is. 1987 copyright Porsche 944 Turbo. But this is something that I bought. Now, this was really cheap. I got a funny feeling I paid like £2 for it. It was in its box, but the box was in a real sorry state. But the car had never been removed. So a little bit of this sort of damage, I suppose you could say, that's there is just because if you'd seen the box, I have shown this car before. Somewhere it's being unboxed on my backlog of videos, and you can see just how bad the box was. But again, cheap, car boot sale, and pretty much mint condition. But like I said, this is the first Duckham's livery that I've seen. And like I said, this, as far as I'm aware of, as I've not done my research this week, this is from the Universal toy era. So that's the first piece. And then the second piece, now I've got to read what this car is. I think it's a Monteverde. So a little look. Matchbox Superfast, and it is the Monteverde 1973 copyright. And again, this was a pound at a car boot, and it's in what I like to call survivor condition. Yes, it's got a few chips here and there, but it still has its sticker. The windows ain't too bad. The wheels are quite nice. Still got its suspension. Excuse me. Got a bit of a cold if I sniff a bit. But yeah, great looking car. And again, funnily enough, I have one of these somewhere in a lot better condition, but I just thought I'd show the car boot finds today. So that is a pretty good, so like I said, Monteverde. And I think I might even, if I'm wrong or not, I'm sure this is has an American engine, isn't it? I think this has an American engine. I think it's got a V8 in this. I'm not quite sure who makes Monteverde now, but I'm sure it's got an American car engine in it. I'm sure it's, but anyway, so that's the Monteverde. And then we've got this cool one, which is, I think it's, just a little look, should say what it is. Matchbox cattle truck. Again, it was cheap. I think this was only about 50p. It was randomly in a box full of old cars, and most of them are in really bad condition. And this thing was just sat there in really nice condition. I think it used to come with some black cows, I think, but they're long since gone. But again, in really nice survivor condition. Too good to be play worn, because play worn, as you all know, is play worn, and this isn't play worn. But it's not mint, so that's why I like to call them survivor cars. But again, let's have a little look at the copyright. 76. So yeah, getting on a bit. So that is pretty cool. Again, these are all from the same car boot sale that I went to in the summertime. I go to every week without fail, and there's always lots and lots of great old die-cast This next one, this one is the Matchbox Superfast. A bit of glare going on. Fantastic, which I think Matchbox has based it on the Mustang, because it looks very much like the Rollermatics Mustang, except it's got a huge engine popping through the front, and obviously it has the enclosed back. And I know they did do. I've seen a Mustang estate. Isn't quite like this, but this one is their match. I think this is the unlicensed version. This is Matchbox's version, hence it's called the Fantastic. And you can get this in plain orange, or as like this one is, with the little, like, sort of almost like a fish looking sticker on the side. I suppose you could say it's loosely looks like a fish. But again, it's got a few chips on the top, but it's in not too bad a condition. Well, I forget what I paid for this, but none of these were expensive. So that is the Fantastic. And then we got this awesome little Lotus, Matchbox Lotus. Now, yeah, here we go, Matchbox. Where does it say Lotus? There you go, Lotus. Now, I was after one of these for ages, as I have the truck that used to come. You could get these Lotuses by themselves, but they also used to come in a set, I believe. And I didn't want to pay the money that these are fetching. And then again, I come across this in car boot, and again, it was in a box, and the tyres, funnily enough, were off it, but they were in the bottom of the box, so it was lucky. So I slipped the tyres back on, and here it is. And again, this wasn't expensive. I think this was £1 as well, because like a lot of the time when you go through car boot sales, sometimes you'll see them all neatly set out and they'll all be individually priced, and sometimes people they want far too much for these vintage pieces. You know, they might be at 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 and up, you know, and then sometimes you'll see these, like I said, in boxes mixed in with other cars. But there it is. So that is the Lotus, and this, if I remember rightly, was manufactured from 1965 to about 1969. So it's in pretty good condition. So that is the Lotus race car. This is probably the most untidy one that I've got, but I do like it. And the reason I like, now when I bought this, there was 4 of them in a row, and they were all in very similar states of condition. But I picked this one because this one had the nicest glass, and it still had the remnants of its sticker. So, and like I said, I don't actually like to restore them. I only restore cars if they're really battered, but I do try to leave them because they're only original once. So even though I'm capable of restoring cars, and I have restored quite a few cars, I do like to leave them. But this is obviously the Cadillac ambulance. Let's have a little look. So I think it says, yeah, Cadillac ambulance. And if I remember rightly, this was produced from about 65 to 69. But again, wasn't expensive, couple of quid, car boot sale. So, and now we get on to a couple of my favourite car boot finds. I'll show the second to last first. So this is the this is obviously the Mustang, and I think this one was produced. From about 69, I think, to about 71. And the only real damage it's got is that looks like they've poked a hole in the back, like they've heated something up and poked a hole through. But other than that, it's in really nice condition, and all the steering mechanism still works. And this was more expensive. I paid £5 for this, but I didn't mind, as apart from that little hole. And these things are fetching really good money nowadays, especially as they're one of the most popular Matchboxes cars to collect is the original Mustang. It has the sort of hard plastic tyres over the sort of chrome centres, but pretty cool. And most of these you always come across these beaten to death basically, or if you go on eBay, they're fetching 60, 70 and upwards of pounds, 60, 70 pounds and upwards in good mint condition. So that's, again, car boot. And on the same day that I found that, I think I found my favourite vintage find Again, the same price, £5, but this is obviously the little upside down Matchbox series number 50. No, it's not. It's number 64, and it is the MG 1100, which is based on basically the Austin 1100, but the MG version was the slightly spritier one, I suppose, a slightly pepped up one, I suppose you could say. I think these had twin carbs on them, on the real car, but this is untouched. This is how I got it. The paint is virtually mint. There's a few little bits missing there, but I think that's more from me. As the paint gets really brittle over the years, as we all know, because these are old cars. But it really is in really nice, almost mint condition. I'd pretty much put this as mint. But I was really happy because, again, these are fetching £75 boxed, a good £40 unboxed. But it's got the little man in the driver's seat there, and you've got the dog. Glass is nice, and the front's really nice on this too. So anyway, so that's some more car boot finds. I've got a lot more I could do on this, as I have a lot of car boot finds. But anyway, with that, please like, share, subscribe. Stay tuned for more vintage pieces, wheel swaps, customs, premium pieces, and all that good stuff to come. I have actually, for the first time in a long time, have found some more. Well, I found some up-to-date Matchbox. We've had nothing here, Matchbox-wise. That's some pretty good 5-packs. We've had no basic off-the-peg stuff, so to speak. And today, I actually found 4 or 5 pieces. So I'll most likely do an unboxing on the newer stuff tomorrow. But with that, I'll see you all very soon. Thanks for watching.